Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Emmanuel Navarrete knocks out Oscar Valdez in 6 rounds and completely dominates him. And this was a rematch of their 2023 fight, which was won on a unanimous decision by Navarrete. That was for the WBO Super Featherweight title. And guess what this one was for? The WBO Super Featherweight title. So a rematch in every sense of the word. And yeah, complete one-way traffic, to be honest with you. Navarrete was actually coming off a defeat because he moved up to lightweight. This was the vacant WBO lightweight title. He lost a split decision to Denis Barancek. I thought he did lose that fight. Prior to that, he got a majority decision, again, a WBO super featherweight title defence against Robinson Conceição. So he was in need of a victory, and the last victory he had was back in 2023 against Valdez. And people were thinking, is this guy on the slide? Maybe you see the way he fights, Navarrete. He's actually a lot more skillful than he looks. I'll go into that a bit more in a moment, but there's no doubt that he does have at times he can have a sort of ragged approach and very cavalier, very almost face first at times, and he can be hit. He's got a great chin. I mean, he's got 2 defeats and a draw on his record, but he's never been stopped. He's got 39 wins now with this rematch victory over Valdez. 32 KOs. He does hit very hard. And he's 29, so he's in his prime as well. He's from Mexico, 3-weight world champ. I think they're all WBO versions of the title. But this was the first time that Valdez was stopped, and he'd got a TKO, 7-round TKO with Liam Wilson since the first Navarrete fight, but he just wasn't at the races. He's 33 now, Mexican fighter. So this was, what can you say about it? I just think he's at the back end of his career, and he actually won. He actually beat Robson Conceição on a majority. No, it was a unanimous decision. That was in 2021. He's also lost to Shakur Stevenson, and then you got the two Navarrete defeats. So all three of his defeats now have come in his last 5 fights, and at 33 years at the back end of his career. And to be honest, he hasn't really looked the same, and since he had that incredible war with Miguel Berchelt, who he stopped in 10 rounds, he knocked him out. Berchelt was down, I think, in 3 of the rounds, 4, 9, and 10, I think it was. He also got victories over some other good men. He was really looking the part. But, it comes to us all. Age comes to us all. You get too many miles on the clock, and that looked to me as if it was the case with Oscar Valdez. In the first round, Navarrete came out, and I said that he always appears to be somewhat ragged, but there is more technique to the guy than you realise. He actually came out using his jab quite well. And yes, he's very front-footed, he's very offensive, but he wasn't neglecting the jab. And, the old cliche, you jab with the jabber, he kept Oscar Valdez from gaining any kind of rhythm in the first round. And right towards the end of the first round, he floored him. And Vasquez tried to say, it's a punch behind the head. It wasn't. Caught him on the jaw. Down goes Valdez, and you're thinking, is he caught cold or is his punch resistance on the wane? Because whenever Valdez landed on Navarrete, no problem. Navarrete just took it. But when it was the other way around, Valdez wobbled and shook, and that happened at the start of the second round as well. He was clipped again early on, and he visibly stiffened, and Navarrete just carried on going forward. Again, a lot more technique than people give him credit for. He uses both hands well, goes to the body very, very well. And Valdez, when he was under the cosh, did not look comfortable at all. He was trying to make himself small, trying to keep the high guard. Occasionally he'd fall in and thinking the eye of the storm was the safest place to be. But Navarrete, at no point did Navarrete look perturbed by anything that was coming at him. And to be honest with you, overall, there wasn't a great deal coming at him. Little pockets of activity from Valdez, but really it was a case of, I'm having a shell up because I'm getting clocked here. You could tell Valdez wanted to go forward. He wanted to be offensive. He wanted to put it on Navarrete, but he didn't have the punch resistance. He didn't have the physical strength. Navarrete at lightweight looks like a unit. Not lightweight, excuse me, super featherweight. He looks like a unit. And even, I say that actually, he does look a little bit soft in the body. You could imagine that he could still get down to featherweight, although perhaps looks are deceptive. At super feather, though, he's got that physical strength. He's certainly got the power. And in the fourth round, he clipped Valdez again, bang on the jaw, down goes Valdez. I mean, Navarrete loves the right hand. There's no doubt about it. And he was pinging right. This is what I mean about his being a bit more intelligent. He was pinging right hands off Valdez in the fourth round, pushed him back to the ropes. Valdez clearly shaken. And then as Valdez tried to slide off the ropes, Navarrete fired an uppercut, which kind of put Valdez over for the second time in the fight. He got up. It was towards the end of the round. The doctor had a look at him just to see if he was, concussed or whatever. No, out you go for the fifth round. He went out for the fifth round and, he was, again, marching forward, high guard, really trying to do some work. But Navarrete soaked it up, or he didn't really. OSCAR VALDEZ wasn't really landing much flush on Navarrete at all. What he was landing, Navarrete took easily. And then when Navarrete decided to move forward and go back into offensive mode, immediately Valdez looked uncomfortable. Immediately. And then the fifth round was, he went through the fifth round without at least getting knocked over, although he was shaken a few times. But in the sixth round, the boom was lowered. And a third knockdown, which was a count out. It was let me get this right, it was a right up, get a load of this. This is typical Navarrete combination. A right uppercut followed by a huge left hook to the body, which put Valdez down by the ropes. He couldn't beat the count, and he was out, counted out. So the first stoppage defeat of his career. He's 33 now. He's been a terrific fighter. Genuine tough guy whose punch resistance seemed to have left him. I mean, if you saw that Birchelt fight, that puts years on you, doesn't it? I mean, he beat other half-decent people like, I think Adam Lopez at the time was he had a pretty good record. Scott Quigg, don't forget Scott Quigg. He fought Scott Quigg, unanimous decision over 12, but he suffered a broken jaw in that fight. So even when he's winning a few of these fights, he was picking up miles on the clock. Manuel Navariete was another good fighter he faced. And then 12-round decisions. A lot of these, if you're doing 12 rounds, I said this in a previous video, if you're doing 12 rounds a lot of the time, that's 12 hard rounds. You might be winning most of those rounds, but you're still putting the miles on the clock, and you still got all those hard camps. At 33, OSCAR VALDEZ might decide, I'm done now, I think I'll walk away. And who can blame him? But as for Navarrete, terrific stuff. One of the best performances of his career, even allowing for the fact that Valdez has seen far better days. I think Navarrete deserves a lot of credit for the manner in which he went about his work. Very, very controlled by his own standards. Didn't sort of subdue his sort of innate desire to go forward and rampage and use his power and strength, but combined it with a fair bit more technique than a lot of people, I think, have given him credit for. So, good fight. Navarrete goes on. He's only 29. I thought he was a bit older, but no, 29. Few years left. Valdez might walk off into the sunset. What did you think of this fight? Leave your comments below. What do you think's next for Navarrete? I think lightweight was a bridge too far for him, because I thought Branchik did beat him, but I think it's over for OSCAR VALDEZ, to be honest. But let me know what you think. Comments below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. That would be great. Help us out. And hit the like button. If you could do that, that would be brilliant too. And I'm looking forward to reading your comments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, and bye for now.